Welcome back to Black Bear News. Greetings. This is a channel where we are discussing the most important news story of the age, of the times, of human existence. That's huge. What is it, pray tell? Well, it is abrupt climate change or abrupt environmental destruction leading to human extinction and extinction of most other life forms on Earth. If that isn't big, if that doesn't grab you, I don't know what does. So in the ongoing business of human expansion, human evolution, human the human takedown of the planet. We have some cities. We have cities that are most likely going to be candidates for first to go when things start to break down. If it's not climate breakdown, then it's economic breakdown, most likely a combination of both. Some of those cities being New Orleans, Miami. I would put Las Vegas and Phoenix at the top of that list as well. Of course, there are other cities that are very, very prone to like storm surge, sea level rise. Those would be New York City, Boston. I'm sure there's others that I'm not thinking of at the moment. Los Angeles, not so much. I mean, of course, we're going to lose some seaside stuff, but we're not as prone necessarily as maybe the Bay Area might be to sea level rise, but we are prone to the things that Las Vegas and Phoenix are prone to, which is lack of water. Since we have most of our water shipped in, we are technically a desert. We don't have a lot of local water sources. And Las Vegas and Phoenix being glaring examples of wholly unnatural cities in that they would not exist if we did not have large-scale importing of water and or electricity. Oh, hold on one moment. Is this something that I need to be concerned about? No. It's like somebody is trying to call me, but I think this person has a wrong number. And they're in Phoenix. Hardy har har. What a coincidence. Anyways, I'm going to read this article from The Guardian, Plight of Phoenix. Sorry about that. Super weird and confusing stuff, but I had to find out. Somebody kept calling me and I had to find out who that was. And now I know. Going back to the article, Plight of Phoenix, how long can the world's least sustainable city survive? Set deep in the Valley of the Sun, the lush and sprawling megapolis has a problem, the rivers. Jennifer Afshar and her husband John pushed their bikes across the grass and paused to savor the sunshine while their two boys went to look at the duck pond. Other kids were playing soccer or doing tricks in the skate park, and families picnicked, I was about to say panicked, on blankets or fired up a barbecue across from a swimming pool. We moved here from Los Angeles to get away from the rising cost of living and the traffic, said Jennifer. When we saw this park, we thought, They were punking us. It was so good. There's low crime and homeowners association takes great care of the grass and the trees. We like it. The Afshars live in the squeaky clean suburb of Anthem, Arizona. Excuse me. It's part of a giant conurbation of satellite towns surrounding Phoenix and is a classic example of why this metropolitan or megapolitan area is tempting fate. 20 years ago, Anthem sprung out of virgin desert, a community master plan from scratch with schools, shops, restaurants, and spacious homes, many behind high walls and electronic gates, and its own country club and golf course. It now has a population of 30,000. To look around Anthem would be to imagine there is no such thing as a water shortage. But the lush vegetation and ponds do not occur naturally. Phoenix gets less than 8 inches of rainfall each year. Most of the water supply for central and southern Arizona is pumped from Lake Mead, fed by the Colorado River over 300 miles away. Anthem's private developer paid a local Native American tribe to lease some of its historic water rights and pipes its water in from nearby Lake Pleasant Reservoir, also filled by the Colorado. The river is drying up. This winter, snow in the Rocky Mountains, which feeds the Colorado, was 70% lower than average. Last month, the U.S. government calculated that 2/3 of Arizona is currently facing severe to extreme drought. Last summer, 50 flights were grounded at Phoenix Airport because the heat, which hit 47 Celsius, oh, it's actually fairly warm out here, or 116 Fahrenheit, it made the air too thin to take off safely. The heat island effect keeps temperatures in Phoenix above 37 C or 98 Fahrenheit at night in summer. Phoenix and its surrounding area is known as the Valley of the Sun, and downtown Phoenix, which in 2017 overtook Philadelphia as America's 5th largest city, is easily walkable with restaurants, bars, and an evening buzz. But it is a modern shrine to towering concrete and gives way to endless sprawl that stretches up to 35 miles away to places like Anthem. The area is still growing and is dangerously overstretched, experts warn. There are plans for substantial further growth, and there just isn't the water to support that, says climate researcher Jonathan Overpeck, who co-authored a 2017 report that linked declining flows in the Colorado River to climate change. The Phoenix metro area is on the cusp of being dangerously overextended. It's the urban bullseye for global warming in North America. One of those plans is Bill Gates' new smart city. The Microsoft founder recently invested $80 million in a development firm that aims to construct 80,000 new homes, on an undeveloped land west of Phoenix, and a new freeway all the way to Las Vegas. Wow, indeed. Another firm, well, I didn't know about the freeway to Las Vegas, that's insane. Another firm wants to build a master planned community like Anthem, south of Tucson, and modeled after the hilltop towns of Tuscany. It envisages 5 golf courses, a vineyard, parks, lakes, and 28,000 homes. The promotional video contains no detail about where all the water will come from, but boasts, "This is the American dream. Whatever you want, you can have." What these cities want is water. The Phoenix area draws from groundwater, from small rivers to the east and from the mighty Colorado. The Hoover Dam holds much of Colorado's flow in the vast Lake Mead Reservoir, but the river itself is sorely depleted. The water has now dropped to within a few feet of levels that California, Nevada, and Arizona, which all rely on it, count as official shortages. Lake Powell, the reservoir at the other end of the Grand Canyon, similarly averages half its historic levels. And yet, despite the Federal Bureau of Reclamation reporting in 2012 that droughts of 5 or more years would happen every decade over the next 50 years, Greater Phoenix has not declared any water restrictions. Nor has the state government decided its official drought contingency proposal. There's an enormous fight over all of this, says Jim Hallway, vice president of the Central Arizona Water Conservation District. Climate change is having an impact, but that's a controversial, unsettled issue in the western U.S. Sprawl is the norm. As a hummingbird flitted to a shrub near Hallway's swimming pool, Phoenix from above is a blue mosaic of back garden pools. Hallway explained that the Valley of the Sun may have to choose between agriculture and further urbanization. 20 years ago, when he moved here, his house looked out onto citrus groves and flower farms. Now the valley is dominated by mega farms growing winter vegetables for export and thirsty alfalfa for the cattle feed market. Do we want to grow houses or crops? He asks. The conversation in Arizona even turns periodically to the outlandish ideas of drawing water from the Great Lakes 1,700 miles away, or building expensive desalination plants on the Pacific Ocean instead of imposing water restrictions. Greater Phoenix is good at recycling wastewater, but most of it is used for cooling the Palo Verde nuclear power plant to the west of the city, the largest in the US, and the only one not on its own body of water. Conversely, the water department is Arizona's biggest electricity consumer, because it has to pump the water uphill from the Colorado along miles of canals into Phoenix and Tucson. And most of that electricity comes from the heavily polluting coal-fired Navajo generating station in the north of the state. Meanwhile, despite enjoying more than 330 days of bright sunshine a year, Hallway estimates that Arizona only derives 2 to 5% of its energy from solar power. Phoenix is extreme but not alone. Most American cities use more resources than necessary, and that's the way they were designed, says Sandy Barr, director of the Arizona chapter of the Sierra Club. There is overconsumption and a disposable mentality. Our waste is taken to remote landfill sites. The cities are designed for cars, and sprawl is the norm. In his 2011 book, Bird on Fire, the New York University sociologist Andrew Ross branded Phoenix the least sustainable city in the world. He says he stands by his assessment and warns of an eco-apartheid, whereby low-income neighborhoods on the more polluted south side of the Salt River, which once flowed vigorously through the city and is now a trickle, are less able to protect themselves from the heat and drought than wealthier citizens. There's a stark disparity, he says. The resource havens, with their hybrid cars, their solar panels, and other green gizmos, and the folks on the other side struggling to breathe clean air and drink uncontaminated water. It's a prediction of where the world is headed. Or he says you can just look at the past. The Hohokam people were the original irrigators of the valley that later became home to Phoenix. Their society, numbering an estimated 40,000, collapsed in the 15th century for reasons believed to relate to disagreements over scarce water. And that's the end of that article. Indeed, that is a problem. If we have a few more years of very, very low snowpack, I mean, it's already going to be an issue, I'm sure, this year, but a few more years of very low snowpack in the Rockies and the Sierras, and many cities are going to be in trouble. Many Western U.S. cities, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Las Vegas, being the main ones. Tucson, of course, being another. Moving on to an article from phys.org, Thawing permafrost causing the browning of northern lakes. The organic carbon found in permafrost is being released as the ice melts after ages of confinement in the soil, and making its way into Arctic and subarctic lakes and ponds, modifying their composition. These are the findings of an international team of researchers that includes Professor Isabelle Lorien of INRS, showing the influence that thawing permafrost has on surface water biogeochemistry. Published in Limnology and Oceanography letters, the results demonstrate that organic carbon from permafrost is making its way into the waters of these regions. This type of carbon is particularly good at absorbing sunlight. As a result, these water bodies are becoming increasingly darker and more stratified, which affects a number of biological processes in these ecosystems. Frozen tundra soils are one of the largest pools of organic carbon on the planet. With climate warming, permafrost thawing has accelerated, increasing the risk that a large portion of this carbon will be released into the atmosphere as greenhouse gases. However, little study has been done thus far on the effects of permafrost thaw on Arctic and subarctic ponds. Using chemical, biological, optical, and isotopic measurements, researchers from Quebec, Denmark, Finland, and Sweden have analyzed hundreds of samples from 14 circumpolar region spanning from Alaska to Russia, from the subarctic zone to the higher Arctic. The samples were taken between 2002 and 2016 from 243 ponds distributed based on their exposure to permafrost thaw. Despite variations in the limnological properties of the Arctic system studied, the researchers clearly observed that permafrost thaw is resulting in higher concentrations of organic matter from catchment soil. Land-derived organic carbon is having a growing influence on Arctic and subarctic ponds, which carries over into the food web, the authors write. The browning of the systems leads to oxygen depletion and cooler water at the bottom of the ponds, which can have a major impact on the microbial activity responsible for the production and consumption of greenhouse gases, particularly the production of methane, a powerful greenhouse gas. That is the end of that article. And there is more news about the Arctic's carbon bomb. I'm going to come back with another video for you and a few more articles. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. And thank you always for your financial support and donations. Always, always, always appreciated. See you on the flip side. Peace.